Guga Foods definitely knows how to make an amazing Wagyu steak. It looks like he's gotten his hands on all the different cuts and cooked them all sorts of different ways. Even this really weird deep fry technique with his nephew Angel. What happens though when an average guy like you and I tries to be just like Guga outside in the middle of winter? Not all of us get to live in the warmth of Miami like he does. So I did the same thing that you would probably do. I went on YouTube and I checked out the advice that Guga gave Bradley Robinson from Chuds BBQ on how to grill up these amazing Japanese A5 Wagyu steaks that he somehow found at Costco.
What's up, Brad? You are about to cook one of the best steaks in the world. Here's how to do them. The first method is the direct grilling. Get the grill nice and hot, but not too hot. You gotta remember, as soon as you put it in, it's gonna flame up like there's no tomorrow, especially when that fat is rendering. So one of the most important things is to have a direct heat and indirect heat. And you better move that steak like there's no tomorrow. If you don't, it is gonna burn, and that's the last thing you want. Don't let it get black. That's a big deal. We want it golden brown, not black.
Based on what we can see, it looks like it went really well. I mean, just check out that sizzle shot. And it looks like he's having a good time eating it. I cannot wait to show you how mine turned out. I decided to make things interesting, and as always, on a budget. We are putting this gorgeous $100 Wagyu ribeye against this adorable little $40 grill that I built the other day. I'm here to prove that anybody can do this and get the same results you see on YouTube at home. You don't need a big fancy grill, and you can even do it in the freezing cold temperatures. Now, my steak is definitely not the same as Brad's Japanese A5. Instead, I was lucky enough that my local meat shop food fair brought in SNAKE River Farms from Idaho. I think that's where they make potatoes. Now, to understand what is American Wagyu, because usually when you say that, people assume Japanese Wagyu, I went on the SNAKE River Farms website and checked out their story. It's actually pretty cool. Apparently, a guy named Robert Rebholz Sr. took a trip to Japan in the 80s and fell in love with Wagyu. He came back to the US and wanted to breed purebred Wagyu cattle with Black Angus. I've heard of this as Wangus before. Wangus. Japanese Wagyu definitely looks amazing, but this American Wagyu looks really good. I mean, take a look at this steak, guys. Okay, let's get the steak ready and do a dry brine. First, we take the steak out of its packaging and give it a little pat dry. Then we get some large grain kosher salt and give this thick steak a generous coating. Some people told me that a fatty Wagyu steak doesn't need to be dry brined, and you might even run the risk of drying it out. That being said, I'm still gonna do it, but only for an hour. Some of you might have a nice roasting pan with a rack in it, and some of you might not. Sometimes you just gotta make do with what you got. I present to you the barbecue fish roaster. It's gonna do the same job, might not be as fancy, but the result is the salt gets into the steak. Just as good. All right, follow me outside so we can get this fire started while we wait for the salt to penetrate the steak. Anyone can do this with a basic grill and charcoal. I just decided to be funny and use this little $40 grill that I built the other day. Start by getting some coals going and dump those beautiful orange hot nuggets into your grill. My only fear is that the grill is far from the coals and it might not cook fast enough. I'm gonna use lots of coal. I'm using oak charcoal that was left over from my big offset smoker. I was gonna do this anyways, but just like Googa recommended, it's important to create a hot zone and a cool zone on your grill to give you some control. So if things get out of hand, you can just move the steak over and the flames won't keep going. A moment later, we come back and it looks like our coal bed is nice and healthy. The grill looks hot and ready to go. This is a pro average guy tip. You can even wear your most comfortable footwear. These ones don't have any holes in them, so they're gonna be perfectly suitable for a cold winter cook. All right, here we go. Look at this steak. It's been about an hour of dry brine and it's even changed colors to a darker, deeper red. I can't wait to throw this thing on the grill and see what kind of sizzle I'm gonna get. Guga said I might have to flip my steak a bunch of times to stop it from burning, but I didn't really have that problem. The distance from the coals actually ended up being perfect. Once that amazing Wagyu fat started to drip off the steak and render, I knew it was time to flip. But the only question is, do we have Guga's golden brown crust he was asking for? And here we go. Yep. Ooh, look at that. Yes, we do. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty scared that I didn't have perfect crust, but to my surprise, it worked out perfectly. A few minutes more on the other side, and we are at a perfect 122 internal. I'm about to pull this thing off, but first, I'm gonna do something that some of you might not like. I'm gonna pour some butter all over the steak. What do you think? Am I ruining Wagyu steak? Okay, hear me out. My plan is to get that butter to flare up over the coals and cause all those flames to come up so I can get that final sear. And those beautiful shots that Googa gets with the flames. You can call me whatever you want in the comments. Let me know, I'm kind of curious what you think of a guy pouring butter over a Wagyu steak. Okay, now the steak is perfect. Let's pull it off to the cooler side of the grill, get it on a cutting board, and get it inside. The next part is super important, guys. You gotta let that steak rest for about 10 minutes to make sure that all the juices come together. Then you can slice into it. And here we go.
Well, I'm pretty excited to see what this is gonna be like. I don't know how a $40 grill does on this steak. And do you think I was right in doing the butter on the steak at the end? Let me know in the comments. Oh, it's so juicy. Oh. Look at that perfect cut of meat. Now, I pulled this off at around 122, and I'm assuming it got close to 130, but it is perfect. Absolutely perfect texture. Cheers. I'm happy I put salt on it. Absolutely delicious. That's nice. Ooh. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. Oh, my friend Andrew just walked in. Let's feed him a piece of steak. Lower. Open your mouth. I will feed you. First person I feed on YouTube. That's delicious. Be honest.
Click for the meat, stay for the dad jokes.
Some people go on holidays and like to travel. I prefer a staycation.
Hey, if you like barbecue and food in general, make sure you check out this video. Maybe one day I'll get to eat Japanese A5 like Brad and Guga. Until then, see you in the next video.